Thanks for checking out ChartGuys.com, home of technical analysis education in both the stock market and cryptocurrency worlds. See the links in the description of this video for more information on our 2 courses, Entries and Exits on the Fundamentals of Technical Analysis, as well as our new course on Trading Cryptocurrency Strategy. Purchase both and receive a 20% off bundle discount. Thanks for checking us out. Let's get on to the technical analysis. Hey everyone, checking in on the big 3. Want to make everyone aware before I get going that I've been putting a video out every single day for the last couple of months, and that's not sustainable to keep up long term, so I am going to be scaling back a bit. Certainly going to keep the free videos coming out to the YouTube crypto community, but I am also going to be looking to do once a week a live session with the Chart Guys chat room members where I answer technical analysis questions and go over the altcoins that they are interested in addition to the big 3, and just going to make that shift, a gradual shift. So if there is not a video every single day, I certainly always get messages of people wondering where they are, but should not be anticipated from here on out, and I will continue to put them out consistently, though not every single day. So I appreciate everybody's support so far, but definitely need to think about sustainability as this market's not going anywhere, and we're going to be doing this for the next decade plus. So Bitcoin on the daily time frame is forming a bearish reversal doji just shy of the all-time high, 49.80, 49. Let's see where we hit here, 49.25. So we came shy by $55, and this is a clear bearish reversal candlestick. That being said, need to be watching the 4-hour time frame because, as I have said in multiple videos, the whole daily chart thing means something different in crypto than it does with stocks, because with stocks you have a set open and close time, and it's very clear what a time frame of a day is. Here on crypto, we don't have that. So if your day is ending, at 8 p.m. Eastern or midnight Eastern, it's going to be a completely different looking candlestick. So I don't really put as much weight into the shape of the daily candlesticks. I certainly look at it for support and resistance and levels and things like that. But in terms of individual candlestick shapes, I always need to look in at the 4-hour time frame. And right now I can see that we did break a little bit of a higher low pattern. So that adds to the fact that it could be a potential bearish reversal doji that leads to further consolidation. I'm looking at 47.35 support, and we broke that, and we dropped down to 47.06. So we are seeing an oversold bounce right now, but we can see the bearish MACD crosses curling in. We are pulling back from overbought RSI levels. So we are still going to remain within striking distance of the all-time high. This is certainly not a dump by any means, but healthy consolidation. Hopefully for the bulls, it's healthy consolidation to give them a bit of a breather in terms of heading towards that all-time high, because the daily chart here has just come off of 6 green days in a row. And you look back historically, how many times has Bitcoin seen 6 green days in a row? And really, since things got crazy, it's only been a couple of times. We really haven't seen 6 green days in a row since we've been above, $2,000. And that stood out to me today to not anticipate an all-time high, because the fact that the bulls had run this hard the past 6 days. Sure, I say, RSI is less meaningful when you're in blue sky breakout territory, but we're not in blue sky breakout territory, and that RSI was extremely overbought. So it's a difference where if you're running up to the all-time high and you're overbought, it's a completely different scenario than if you hit the all-time high, start breaking out into blue skies, and then hit overbought conditions. So need to distinguish between those two scenarios, and we saw scenario number 1 today where the 4-hour RSI hit 80 multiple times and could not sustain up there. So the hourly time frame, we can see we took out all these supports. We had a clear higher low pattern, and we did lose that. So normally when that happens under these conditions, I would now look for a bounce, an oversold bounce to play out, and a lower high to form, and then to pull back and see a lower low. So that is something I'm going to be keeping an eye out for. And if that does not happen, then we know Bitcoin's going to hit a new all-time high, because that would show a lot of strength moving forward. So support 47.06. Then I'm looking at this little consolidation base 46.30 as the next level. After that, put some lines here. We can see that the RSI is cooling off significantly on the hourly. The 15-minute RSI dropped all the way down to oversold. There's our bounce underway right now. We're about to top out on this bounce in the near term, in my opinion. Set a high of the bounce, we'll consolidate, set a higher low, and watch a 15-minute equilibrium pattern play out overnight. And if we get a bear break of that equilibrium pattern, we know that the 4-hour time frame and the daily time frame has further consolidation coming. The 5-minute RSI just got extremely oversold, so that was a nice bounce entry opportunity. But again, I would not be looking for a trend reversal at this point. At this point, if making any entries on these pullbacks, I would either be putting my stop losses at break even and looking for an all-time high, or I would just be scalping these oversold bounces to lock in these moves where 47.06, and here we are seeing, an $80 move in just 30 minutes. That's significant to lock in. And if you do feel that further consolidation is coming, as I do, then that would be the trade to make. But certainly no harm, no foul if you're putting in a break-even stop loss and hoping that the bulls recover in a stronger manner than normal trading conditions would dictate. So the bounce is still underway. We'll see how high we get from here. We are going to set another resistance at the top of this bounce once the bulls run out of momentum, and then we'll watch to see that tightening 15-minute equilibrium pattern. So all in all, again, in summary, the bulls are absolutely very strong. We are right at that all-time high, and we're not seeing any high bear volume indicating that we are going to see an all-out dump from this rejection and that the shorts are going to jump on the price. And keeping the perspective in mind, on the daily time frame here, we could pull all the way back to 4,400 and still be in an uptrend on the daily. Anything above 4,150 is a higher low on this daily chart that keeps the bulls in control. And that's what we were looking for on this consolidation when we got that higher low. All we were looking for was a higher low compared to 40.15, and we ended up getting it and following through. So have to keep perspective in mind here. We can pull back multiple hundreds of dollars and still be just fine on the daily time frame for the bulls. As far as the alt world is concerned, we're seeing a lot of alt names bounce today, and a lot of them are bouncing very significantly. Golem is up 25%. And in my opinion, the names that are bouncing the most significantly, if there's no news tied to it, those are names that the market has the most trust in fundamentally. Because right now you're hearing everybody talk about, this is time to shop, this is time to buy altcoins. And in my video yesterday, I talked about how, my overall opinion on altcoins and how the vast majority of them are not going to be good long-term holds. There are certainly going to be some great long-term holds, but just in terms of the percentage odds of the number of good altcoin long-term holds compared to ones that are going to, fizzle out, those odds are not in your favor. So, if you're doing a lot of due diligence and research, that's absolutely going to help. If you're doing, if you're looking at the white papers and, really looking at the teams and things like that. But in terms of, I'm always looking to know what the market is going to do, because if I think, a coin's great, it doesn't matter if the market hates it. It doesn't matter what I think. So I always want to know what the market thinks of things. And we see the altcoins running on news and hype all the time, but I want to know who's running on fundamentals. And that's what I'm saying now, is that the ones that are bouncing the most significantly from this move are the ones that the market has the most faith in fundamentally, because that's where their shopping lists are in terms of bargain hunting, so to speak. So that's what we got for Bitcoin. Ethereum and Litecoin, again, we're still seeing the correlation change all the time, and it's really frustrating for Ethereum and Litecoin holders where, we have people that are seeing the price inversely related to Bitcoin, and so Ethereum's going down as Bitcoin's going up, and then Bitcoin starts to pull back, and Ethereum starts to pull back with it. So there's definitely frustration among the ETH and LTC community in terms of this correlation favoring Bitcoin and then not favoring these other names when we do see Bitcoin weakness. And that's a bit frustrating, but I'm still watching this channel on Ethereum, and this is the level I'm watching right now for support, 286.44, 285.88. So I'm looking at the 285, 286 range as the key support, and the key resistance is up at 314.62. And we have an inside bar forming on the daily time frame. And we're pretty much right in the middle of this range. We're a little bit closer to support breaking than we are to resistance breaking, not by a significant amount. So I'm still watching this daily chart very closely. And when I see a daily chart tight like this, I'll look for the weekly chart for any kind of clues. And I can see the weekly chart as a high, a low, a lower high, higher low. And if we set a lower high here and we pull back and break bearish from that inside bar on the daily, we are likely going to pull back down into the mid $200 range on Ethereum and look to set a higher low to see this weekly equilibrium pattern continue to play out. And we were looking at this pattern about 6 weeks, 8 weeks ago, and it has been playing out nicely. So the range on this equilibrium pattern right now is 202.25 to 314.62. There's still a ton of range in there, which is why we could easily pull back and form a higher low somewhere in the 250s. And that's something I'm going to be looking for, but I'm not looking for that until we break this support level on this channel on the daily time frame. So I'm still in my position from Ethereum swinging it last night. And keep in mind, Ethereum 305. Let's look at this resistance. Top of this bounce was 305. 305 has come into play many times on Ethereum. We'll look at it on the hourly time frame in just a moment. But why I'm holding on right now and why I didn't sell in the low 300s is, number one, I entered the 2 trades yesterday, Litecoin and Ethereum, for these oversold bounces. I locked in the Litecoin profit earlier as a bit of a hedge to allow me to swing this trade longer term and have the game plan of seeing a bullish 4-hour MACD cross and looking to benefit from a longer term hold. Also, lifestyle is really important. If you watch the course, I talk about that, but where my lifestyle, I've been busier right now, so I'm not sitting here staring at the computer screen the whole time. So that's when I'm going to be looking for more swing trades rather than looking to day trade everything. So I have my levels set for key support and resistance. And right now, the key support that I'm looking at, we'll look at in just a moment as we zoom in. But we can see the 4-hour time frame is trying to establish this higher low. And the base right now of this support is down at 296. So 296 is a must-hold level on this 4-hour time frame. The bulls are trying to form that and have that be a higher low. And if that level does break, then that is a bit of a setback. But if we can see this higher low established, we can see this bullish MACD cross close in, and we can see the bulls break 305, that would be significant because, like I said, 305 is a key level. We can see a top here. Let's just put a line at 305 so we can see where this level has come into play. So it's resistance right here. Look at it acting as support back here. Look at it acting as resistance multiple times. Resistance again. So when you see a price level, here's it bouncing as support. You see a price level with this much action, both as support and resistance. That's a line that you just want to leave on the chart. Obviously, you don't want to make your chart cluttered, but this is something that you always want to be aware of because you could potentially forget about 305. You know, you see this oversold bounce. Things are going great. We were definitely extended on the hourly time frame. We had seen at this point 5 green hours in a row. The 15-minute RSI was very overbought, and we hit that 305 level. And again, I wasn't sitting here, you know, micromanaging my position. So I am putting my stop loss right now. I'm going to exit. We have supports here at 295.60 and 295.61. That was a little consolidation, a double low, and then continuation. And right now we bounce off of 296. So if I put my stop at 295.60 and I'm watching this level, we would see lower lows on the 4-hour time frame if I were going to get stopped out. That would be a bearish indication. And we would be taking out support levels that would have us really looking down at 290.23 as one of the next key supports if we do break 295.60. So that's an indication that would tell me I want to be out of this position if that level were to break. So we have another resistance here to be watching, 300 psychological on this bounce attempt. Bulls have to get over that level to be heading back up towards that 305 mark. So the bulls don't have a lot of momentum right now. This oversold bounce played out really nicely. That was a pretty solid move you can see on the 4-hour time frame. But we have to see the higher low and the higher high on the 4-hour and the bull MACD cross to be confident that the bulls are taking momentum back. And right now, we are just trying to establish the 4-hour higher low. Checking in on Litecoin. Litecoin, we had a clear bear break, as I pointed out in yesterday's video on the daily time frame. This makes Litecoin the weakest name of the three. The fact that we have a clear lower high and lower low pattern on the daily time frame over the past few weeks at this point. So we're watching now for whether or not, you know, the bulls can see some recovery, and they have a long way to go. The 4-hour time frame, we can see the bounce. We had the high of the bounce, higher low and higher high. Must hold support is 49.56, and resistance right now is 51.48. So there's 51.48 resistance. Must hold support is the higher low at 49.56. Same thing watching the 4-hour bullish MACD cross, but just looking at the daily charts comparing, you know, Ethereum and Litecoin, lower high and lower low, where Ethereum on the daily did not get that lower low. It actually, I mean, technically it did on the daily time frame get a lower low, but by less than $1. So I'm considering that a key level of support that is still holding here because the bulls bought the dip off that level. So I like the daily setup. Obviously, Bitcoin's the strongest daily chart. Ethereum second. Litecoin is bringing up the rear. On the hourly time frame for Litecoin, we can see pretty decent, healthy consolidation. No red flags. The red flag will be if we break this low of 49.56. So where we stand going into tomorrow, we're watching Bitcoin consolidation and volume. We're keeping an eye out for any high volume bearish action that is going to let us know that daily consolidation is coming and more prolonged 4-hour consolidation. We're watching to see if Ethereum can hold 296.50. And let's actually make sure that that's the exact level I'm talking about here. It's actually 296.60. So that's the support we're watching. 300 and 305 resistance. We're going to see if this 4-hour MACD cross follows through overnight and if the bulls can head back to 305. And we're watching to see if Litecoin can do the same thing, but keeping in mind that Litecoin has more work to do on the daily time frame in terms of seeing a recovery than Ethereum currently does. So the altcoins are seeing a nice bounce. We've been keeping a close eye on, again, I've been keeping a close eye on Gollum because I do have a long position, a very small long position. Again, because of my beliefs on the altcoins, I'm not risking a whole lot. And I made this mistake. Let's go back down memory lane. Back in the USMJ sector boom, again, it went from 8 companies to 300. I had a really big year. And when we were in 2013, the sector was breaking out huge, hundreds of percent moves. I had a really big year, and I thought, okay, I have all this, money sitting around here in cash now because I'm trading and I'm being cautious. I'm going to choose some of these names that are in the MJ sector that have not run yet, and this is when dozens and dozens of companies are popping up. So I put a couple thousand here, a couple thousand there, and said, okay, if just one of these names hits, then it will make up for all my gambles spreading them out. And in the end, they are worthless, and they're now my tax write-offs for cryptocurrency season, which is nice to have those, but obviously it would have been nice to have profit instead. So that's where my experience is coming from in this alt currency, alt crypto world, where I'm not going to be dispersing and hoping to hit it big. I'm going to be trading the hype and locking in profits, finding a couple that I like the teams and the fundamentals. But right now, my Gollum position is about 3% of my profit for 2017 in the cryptocurrency space. So I'm risking 3% of my total profit. If it goes to 0, that's what I lose. So certainly I'm not risking much at all. It's a very low, a small position. And if it hits, it'll be nice. And if it doesn't hit, it's not that big of a deal. But I'm not going to be making the same mistake that I made in the US MJ sector, where if I were doing the same thing as I did back then, right now I'd be putting, 2% of my profits in this name, 2% in this name, and doing that until maybe 15% of my profits were allocated in these altcoins, and that just is not a good idea in my opinion. So that's where we stand. I appreciate you listening to me ramble a bit, and again, it's not the end of the world that I'm not doing a video every day. I will continue to put them out, but I am going to be putting the Chart Guys chat community a bit more prominently in the radar in terms of answering questions and providing, pertinent, useful information live to them and allowing for that interaction while I am on the mic. Thanks again. Have a great night.